All right, Naka Environmental Scientist. This is Mr. S, and this subject is 8.6 thermal pollution. So the objectives, essential knowledge, and skills. I want you to be able to describe the effects of thermal pollution on aquatic systems. And at the end, we'll explain environmental concepts or processes or models in applied contexts. So, the biggest thing is solubility, if you remember, is the ability of a solid, liquid, or gas to dissolve into a liquid. So oxygen dissolving into water in this case. So how much oxygen can dissolve into water? And so there's a direct relationship between water temperature and oxygen solubility. As the water temperature increases, the dissolved oxygen decreases. So you would see this on this graph, right? So as the temperature gets lower, the dissolved oxygen gets higher, vice versa. So as the water warms, it can take in less oxygen. And so thermal pollution is when heat released into the water has negative effects on organisms living in the water. That heat increases respiration and the rate of aquatic organisms, or thermal shock. And the hot water also has less oxygen. So this can lead to the suffocation without enough oxygen to support respiration. So basically, if there's too much heat, these organisms can no longer breathe. All right, and so the major sources of this type of pollution are power plants that use cool water from the surface and groundwater sources to nearby to cool steam used to turn a turbine back into water to reuse. So here you would see a factory, right? And they need cold water to pour over their generators to create that steam, right? And then the water that comes back out is hot, it's warmer. So steel mills, paper mills, and other manufacturing plants also use cool water to cool down machinery and return warm water to local surface waters. And then urban stormwater runoff can also cause thermal pollution due to the heat from black top asphalt. So if let's say it's hot and all that asphalt, it gets really hot, right? You can think about the monsoons in Albuquerque. And then when it rains, all that water gets warmed up by the streets. And then you get warm water going into the waterways. And then the other one is nuclear power plants, right? So they require large amounts of cool water to cool steam back into water and to cool the reactor core. So in those nuclear power plants, though, they do use cooling towers or ponds, and those are used to cool steam back into water and to hold warm water before returning to local surface water. So they do try to cool that down, and this is how it works with the nuclear plant. You see, they inject the hot water and distribute it and fan it off. Basically, it just cools the water down before it's released. So it's standard in nuclear power plants, but could be optimized to cool water better or hold it longer before returning to bringing the water back in. Alright, so in your notes, I want you to explain how an increase in nuclear power generation in a town may lead to a decrease in biodiversity in nearby aquatic ecosystems.